introduce everybody who worked on this track that I'm about to share with you. Let me go around and introduce everyone. I guess I'll say so. I'm Andor, and I played all the synthesizers and electronic parts of this.
Hi, I'm Kiki, and I got to sing and do voice on this track.
Hey, I'm Kara, and I played the handpan.
I'm John, and I played bass and temple bells and shakers.
Hey, I'm Josh. I play drum kit and tablets.
Okay, so we're gonna listen to this track, and then afterwards I'll ask some questions or ask for feedback. But this is the first time most of us here have heard it. So kind of the effect I was going for with this track was, and I didn't really mean for it to get so elaborate, it was like I actually wanted to do this month because I was running behind schedule, and then I just kept thinking of new things that it needed to have, and so, but the idea of it came from like the idea of like a river where you're like when you're floating down a river and like different things are like kind of passing over you, and in fact this guy Peter who was listening to it suggested that the name should be the Endless River, so that's the name of this track, the Endless River. And I really liked how everybody brought different things to it. I don't know, so feedback, what did you guys think about how it ended up?
I love the fluidity of it, and I like the gentleness of different instruments coming in and out. And I like the way that they're all dancing together to make a fullness, like a full body sound also.
Yeah, I think that the interplay between everything, that was one of my favorite parts of it. It was like hearing how everything kind of like was weaving in and out and flowing, and when crescendos came, how everything sort of like fit in a certain place at a certain time, and then kind of deconstructed at the end, almost went into a loop.
It's definitely things that like kind of came back again at the end. It felt like there's a piece of music by The Orb that sort of inspired it, or like I think it, influenced it, which is called Oxbow Lakes, which has the same thing. And an oxbow lake, if you don't know, is when a river basically like splits around an island, and so you can kind of like go around it and come back to the same place again. And so I definitely had that in my head a little bit when I was kind of putting it together. And then Josh, I want to call attention to actually some your parts, because we listened to this the other day. So when Josh was laying down the drum parts, I didn't really have like much of a plan. We'd already come in and like John had done some of the percussion, and there was a little bit of percussion already on it. I wasn't really sure, like I knew it wasn't something that needed like a real heavy, beat to it, and we ended up doing 2 tracks of drums plus some cymbal splashes. But so Josh went and did like one set of did a track on the drum kit, and then went back without hearing what he had done and put it on the tabla, and just the way it worked together was really cool. I'm gonna like just solo these for a second. Okay, so I would say John's responsible for the most and least subtle things on this.
The most and least subtle.
So the bass line, which is kind of like this thing that just sort of, I think, takes over the song for a minute, and then John played that, and we actually doubled up on the bass. I had played a part and on like a sampled bass, and then got him to play it, and then realized that the part I had played was like an octave higher, and so I just like blended them.
I actually detuned the bass a half step so that it would match. I could play an open D sharp. And I was thinking, oh, you know, he had the range of the keys, and then when we started looking at my note on the computer, it was like a whole octave below. We're like, oh, well, let's just keep it that way. So it doubled up really nice.
And it sounds like this.
That stuck in my head for 3 days after.
And then the subtle elements that John added, and it really just, it made a huge difference in it. First of all, the tempo bells.
Yeah, they played themselves. The odd thing was while we were recording it, I couldn't really hear anything else. I was just like, well, okay, I'm just gonna move in whatever rhythm, you know, I kind of feel, and it came out like this.
And then there was also the shakers. And then if you combine them,
Yeah, if you listen to the shaker part by itself, it's like, you know, you're trying to play completely out of time. Actually, I was. What space is left that I can play this in?
okay, so Kara played the hand pans, and you've been playing hand pans for a while now. You're pretty involved with the whole hand pan community.
I am.
Do you want to say anything about the actual instrument you played?
Yeah, it's a new instrument of 14 years, so fairly new to this world. I actually played a Pantheon steel halo, which is made in St. Louis, right outside of St. Louis. And it is a Malak Stratus, so it's basically a G scale. And this is my first time being in a recording studio with it, and I walked away from that thinking, oh my god, I want to be in a recording studio with my hand pans all the time. It's really fun. Because you know, what you're capable of doing, I can't do with just the hand pan. And so it's got this base to it that I don't get by just playing the hand pan.
Now, for those who don't know, do you want to say like a hand pan? It's it's somewhat like a steel drum, but
It's an
like
inverted steel drum, basically, is the best way to sum it up. A lot of people know it as hum drum, or yeah.
Hum or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Hum.
Which is the first kind that came out of Switzerland. So, yeah.
They have this really otherworldly sound,
Very cool.
and they look like UFOs, which is
Yeah. Nice big UFO in your lap.
Yeah. One thing to say is that your drum was not in the right, it wasn't in the same key. So it was only a half step away. This was an A flat. Yours was, I guess, in G. So what we ended up doing was actually pitching the whole piece down half a step, recording you, and then pitching you back up because it was like fewer things to distort. But it sounded fine, I think. And I'm gonna play some of it just dry for a second so you can hear what it started as. And then I added some different effects, some EQ, some compression, some delay, and of course reverb. There's some gratuitous use of reverb on this song, but. And then when you mix it in with the rest of the album, the rest of the song rather, it sounds like this.
Oh, you are magic. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Yes.
Okay, and then finally the last part that got added was Kiki, and so we just met actually. We were at a thing. We were at kind of a silly hippie festival, and we were both doing different things. Kiki was running the tea booth, and I was playing at it, and.
And I kind of saw you wandering around, and I'm like, I think I need to scoop him up and invite him to tea. So he was a little lost at the hippie festival.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little out of my element, to be honest.
You did come back with a cool blacklight pointer though.
I did. I scored a blacklight blacklight laser. Was the,
Nice.
So it was all worthwhile. I got a cool blacklight laser, and I met Kiki.
Yeah, so he sent it to me, and I listened to it like twice, and then just came in the studio and started hearing the melodies and the magic, and I think we did just like 4 layers, and you pieced it together so beautifully. So I'm really happy about it. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're welcome.
it's
Thank you
really
for
special.
contributing it. I think what I'm going to do is actually play just the vocals for a minute, and you can sort of see how I layered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the first time I heard the vocal part. That was really, really nice.
So I think that turned out pretty cool.
Started sounding
Yeah,
like
it
flute
does.
at different times. And
That was so
the way
cool.
the way the harmonic convergence. That is the only way I can describe it. Like the notes combining, it sounded like flute notes at different times because they were shaping and bending like that.
Fun to hear your voice like that, huh?
Oh, yeah, it's so good. Love it.
Hey, Edward, can you still do feedback?
Yeah.
That layering thing has like a really cool sort of like almost like underwater quality, and just an idea is to like draw. There's so many layers while that's going on, and maybe at some point if there was more of a bare bones thing going on and like drifting into that'd create a crazy dynamic contrast.
So you're saying like flow between like the multiple layers to like just a single voice kind of?
No, I'm talking about everything else that's happening in the music.
Oh yeah.
Like
Have everything else drop out of it, you mean?
yeah, for a second. And,
Yeah.
and then you've got like this crazy underwater thing going on, like the voice.
Interesting.
I think that this is one that is probably going to get remixed into a much longer thing. I'm trying to be deliberate of being conscious about the time because my goal is to put this on vinyl and there's some pretty serious time constraints about that. It's going to be a double record, but still, 22 minutes per side being the upper limit of it. It's pretty tight. However, I think that there's going to be like extended remixes of some of them, and this is one that's definitely going to get that treatment because there's just so much material that it's literally just like thing after thing after thing after thing after thing. When like really you could stretch this out into like a much longer piece. It's a little under 4 minutes. So.
I
But
like
yeah.
the crescendo of it too, kind of,
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like it goes on for too long, which is good.
I'm so happy with what you did.
Good job.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm so happy with what y'all did.
Did you just sing a bunch of different melodies and then you pieced them together and dropped them like that? That's cool as shit.
Nice. Yeah.
She did 4 different takes of singing, just improvising with it, and then I just cut them all up and took my favorite ones and colored them in Ableton. So, and basically what I did was I color coordinated them. So if it was a high pitch, I colored it blue. If it was medium, I colored yellow. If it was low, I colored red. And that way I had sort of a palette to choose from. And then I also I wanted to play with the panning a lot. So I had one line that was kind of like the main line. So like that real deep thing that it starts off with, for instance, that's like smack in the center. And then the other kind of counterpoint things kind of come in at varying degrees of like panning. So they're kind of weaving around it. But the way I put all the best ones sort of in the middle. I guess that's it. I don't know. Do you guys want to say anything else?
Thanks for wanting to do something as a community collaborative project. I think that we need to do it more and more and more.
Yeah.
So thanks for taking the lead in that.
You're welcome. Thanks for doing it. It's a big experiment, and this was the one of anything I've done. This is the most people we've had. I think there's a couple of them that we've had like Josh and one other person on, but as far as like a collaboration, and also like to just acknowledge like there's a wide range among you of like experience as musicians or like necessarily identity. I think everyone's kind of like coming into it from different places, whether it's something somewhat new versus something you've been doing for a long time, and just the way that everyone brought what they had to the table is beautiful. Let's all keep it up.
I thought it was a great opportunity for me because I got to play bass on it, which is something I've always wanted to do, and I've been drawn to bass for a long time, and to actually get a part that I was able to sit down and like become part of something with it and record it. It was really good because it's something that I don't do all the time, and I was actually having to think like a bass player and write a track in a completely different mindset as opposed to doing percussion, which is just like second nature for me. So it was good. I got to do something old and something new.
Yeah, I feel the same too, actually. I've always been kind of like in the forest singer and around the fire and with my friends, and I'm finally just now recording on my own, but to have you put that together, I'm just like, it's so beautiful to see, or to hear it, I guess, and just, you can almost see it too.
I was gonna say, when I was recording, I was seeing things. I mean,
Yeah.
it really was one of the most synesthetic recording experiences I've ever had. I was seeing colors and like images.